Michael Jordan earned $3 billion playing basketball for the Chicago Bulls, making him the highest paid athlete of all time. And that's without even counting his $1.3 billion Air Jordan deal. On the other side of that, you have boxing legend Floyd Mayweather, who is notoriously against endorsements, and yet he still ranks amongst some of the richest athletes of all time. Sit back and relax for a few minutes. Let's see who else made this list. Of course, Michael Jordan is the highest paid athlete of all time. Anyone around in the 90s knows that Jordan was an international sensation. While playing for the Chicago Bulls, he was paid $2.3 billion, which comes to over $3 billion when adjusted for inflation. Michael Jordan's real moneymaker, though, was his endorsement money. Overall, he brought in billions of dollars endorsing different brands. His most popular brand, and perhaps the most popular sports endorsement of all time, is the one and only Air Jordan. The Air Jordan brand has brought in $19 billion for Nike, of which MJ has made $1.3 billion, well more than anyone else ever has. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are even re-teaming to make a movie about how the deal was struck, which is already being called a modern-day Jerry Maguire. In every imaginable way, this deal was monumental in sports history, though its staying power through the decades is largely on Michael Jordan himself. What Jordan did almost as well as playing basketball was maintaining his image as a role model and family-friendly sports hero, even after retirement. I mean, even Space Jam made, $250 million despite pretty negative reviews at the time, compared to Space Jam: A New Legacy, which only made $163 million, even with LeBron James and every other single WB character imaginable behind it. This has maintained his success even into the 21st century, as people will pay ridiculous amounts of money for a little drop of nostalgia. NFTs featuring Jordan have gone for over $1 million, and Air Jordans that he actually wore while playing are now sold at auction like they're priceless works of art painted by Vincent van Gogh. His Last Dance sneakers went for over $1.4 million. So what famous athlete could ever compete with such a brand? Tiger Woods is the Michael Jordan of golf. Despite the fact that Woods has had a ton of scandals over the years, he is actually a strong contender to become the highest paid athlete of all time. Right now, Woods has been paid around $1.7 billion or $2.5 billion when adjusted for inflation. Either way, that puts him under $1 billion from overcoming Michael Jordan. While he definitely doesn't play like he used to, he's made it clear that he has no plans to ever retire. Of course, he'd be a lot closer to that if he had agreed to a huge deal last year. He was offered an outrageous amount of money to participate in the LIV Golf Tour. This deal would have been reportedly close to $1 billion just by itself for him to not only play, but to be the face of the entire thing. I know he hates LIV CEO Greg Norman, but hating a man more than $1 billion is just next level. His net worth is also over $1 billion as well. He is one of few athletes to ever hit that big billionaire milestone, and he did so without ever making a big Hollywood movie. Like MJ, he also has a lot of endorsements as well, earning big bucks from brands like Nike, Bridgestone, Monster Energy, Rolex, and TaylorMade. In 2022, he took home only $64,200 in event payouts. That was largely due to his injuries and car wrecks that year that had him dropping out or underperforming. Still didn't stop him from crossing that billionaire line though. So if Tiger Woods is not the only athlete billionaire out there, who's the other one in the club? And well, that answer probably won't surprise you at all. Before I jump deeper into this billionaires club, can you take a quick second to like and subscribe? That way, you don't miss out on more videos like this from the Richest. To many fans out there, LeBron James is the single greatest athlete of his generation. Across his career, he's managed to rake in $1.5 billion. This doesn't seem to be slowing down either, as King James is said to be intending to play with his son Bronny James, who is aiming to be a young hopeful in the NBA right now. He has made well over $300 million over his long career in the NBA. He has signed a lifetime deal with Nike that is estimated to earn him over $1 billion over the years. He's also landed a ton of other endorsement deals with other major companies like AT&T, PepsiCo, and Walmart. Reportedly, he earns around $100 million a year due to these various endorsements. Seeing how much people love him, it's kinda shocking to me that this isn't even higher than that. Even though James is nowhere near MJ, he has already out-earned everyone else in the NBA. In June of 2022, he officially crossed the line into the 3 commas club by becoming a billionaire. So yeah, no pressure on his son once he enters the NBA, right? Of course, those are just American athletes. Across the pond, the big money is held by football clubs and the 2 competing international superstars who have out-earned everyone else. When it comes to the world of football or soccer in North America, 2 athletes dominate as hard as the likes of Jordan, Woods, or LeBron. Those would be the 2 highest paid football players of all time, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Across most of the world, they are 2 of the most famous people to have ever lived. This is definitely reflected in their salaries. The 2 are pretty neck and neck with one another when it comes to earnings. Ronaldo's managed to pull in $1.5 billion, narrowly edging out Messi. The latter superstar has brought in $1.4 billion. The next highest footballer is David Beckham, who made $965 million, or around $1.2 billion when adjusted for inflation. So yeah, Ronaldo and Messi really are in a league all their own. So which one pulls ahead when it comes to endorsements? Let's start with Messi. He's pulled some serious deals with several of the most famous international brands like Budweiser, Gatorade, Konami, PUBG Mobile, Pepsi, and MasterCard. Last year, he made around $55 million by doing those endorsements. And now let's look at where Ronaldo stands. He has managed to score a series of truly incredible relationships with brands like Nike, Herbalife, DAZN, MTG, Clear Shampoo, Abbott, and Unilever. Last year, all of those brands brought him $45 million. Not quite as much as Messi. It's honestly surprising that Hollywood's shown no interest in making them even bigger international stars. Not even a cameo on Ted Lasso. Whichever one pulls that deal may finally pull ahead for good. Cristiano Ronaldo could 100% have his own John Wick franchise. The 2 biggest superstars in the football world are likely going to compete over highest earning athlete throughout the rest of their careers. So what about boxing? Is there fierce competition in that world for money too? When it comes to the world of boxing, there is only one champ who has knocked out all of the competition harder than he did any competitor in the actual ring. That would of course be perhaps Floyd Mayweather Jr. He has made an absolute fortune knocking fools out. That went as high as $275 million to take on Conor McGregor, the largest in all of boxing history. So it's no wonder that his total earnings reached as high as $1.4 billion. What might really shock you are his endorsements. Have you ever noticed that there are no Nikes with his name on them or Coke commercials with him? That's because he is notoriously hard to get for an endorsement. It costs a minimum of $1 million to get him to do business with you. He's worked with a few brands, including Hublot, Burger King, and FanDuel, but just imagine what his life could have been like if he was more willing to come to the table. When it comes to his competition, they are way behind him. The next closest is Mike Tyson, who made around $455 million or $875 million when adjusted for inflation. The next highest was actually a major rival of Mayweather's, Manny Pacquiao. He earned $560 million or $725 million when adjusted for inflation. Then we've got George Foreman, who pulled in $355 million or $680 million when adjusted for inflation. Though, gotta mention the brilliant grill business he had, which stupidly gave him a 40% royalty on each grill. They ended up buying him out for $138 million because he was taking all of their profits. So yeah, I don't see Mayweather making a deal that good. Has anyone else noticed that I haven't talked about anyone from the NFL yet? Well, let's change that. Is there any doubt who the highest paid NFL star is? Of course, it's Tom Brady. Brady had a long history in the NFL due to how many times he retired, unretired, and then retired again. And yeah, it's a joke, we know it was only once, but anyway, over 2 decades in the NFL and 7 Super Bowl rings brought him in a whopping $690 million, blowing past even the likes of Peyton Manning with ease. Unlike Floyd Mayweather Jr., he has no problem with collecting endorsements like he does Super Bowl rings. he has pulled in deals with the likes of Under Armour, IWC watches, Molecular mattresses, Aston Martin, Upper Deck, UGG, Foot Locker, Tag Heuer, Sam Adams, FTX, and Hertz. No wonder. He's estimated to pull in massive payouts like $100 million a year for these brands. So why hasn't Brady made the kind of money that Michael Jordan and LeBron have? Well, there are a ton of reasons for that, ranging from team numbers to game numbers to collective bargaining rights. What may be the simplest answer is that NFL players wear helmets, while NBA players don't. That makes their faces much easier to recognize and thus making it much easier to hang a multi-million-dollar brand on. As far as his future is concerned, chances are that he will make even more millions in the years to come than he even did in the NFL. That's because he's been courted with enormous amounts of money to become a commentator for likely the rest of his life. The rumor was that Fox was going to offer him as much as $375 million for a 10-year contract, though he may end up going the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson route. He really wants to become a big-time Hollywood star in his own movies. Does Fast 11 need a bad guy? Because I know someone who is definitely the right size and could easily fight Vin Diesel and Vin Diesel's whole family. Honestly, I am shocked that not a single one of these people is paid to fly into space yet, and now that I'm thinking about it, you can place your bets in the comments, but I'm going with 100% Michael Jordan beating all of them to a SpaceX rocket.